We are going to see if ChatGPT can program a Commodore 64. I don't know that anybody else has tried this or done this, but let's try some things. I do know a little bit about trying GPT. It's not GPT, it's GPT with the Commodore. I did try a little bit of programming yesterday, and it was the results were interesting, and so I want to walk through some things and try that. Now, is this practical? I don't know. There's a big Commodore 64 community out there. People that might be trying to program some things, trying to figure out how to get the job done, that maybe are interested in trying GPT for this. So let's just ask the question: can you program BASIC for the Commodore 64? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. I know it can. So I'm just starting with the question anyways. All right. So I think for our test here, it would be great to see if ChatGPT can program a block that maybe the size of the cursor and put it in the center of the screen and allow us to move it with the arrow keys. So let's try some things and see what happens. Create a Commodore 64 program that presents a cursor. Well, let's just say a block in the center of the screen. So block in the center of the screen, which is movable using the left, right, up, and down arrow keys from the keyboard. I'm going to be a little more specific than that. I'm going to say each time an arrow key is pressed, the block should move one space. I'm going to leave it to determine what a space actually means, but let's just see what it comes up with. Okay, it's spitting out some code, which is kind of cool. Now, I'm using an emulator here. I don't know how well this code would paste in any other emulator, but I can show you a problem right off the bat that I know of. So I'm going to do to demonstrate the problem is I'm just going to, it's still coming up with its response. And it comes up with some descriptions here, and it's really crazy. I mean, look at this. I put remark statements in here. That's all pretty crazy. So let's take one of these lines. I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to come over here to the Vice C64 emulator, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, now you see the problem. The uppercase characters are an issue. So REM, right, space, capital M. But it got the lowercase stuff right. So let's tell it to give us the code in all lowercase. And now it's giving us lowercase code. And we could go through this line by line and see, double check to make sure everything is correct in lowercase, but looks good right now. So I'm going to hit copy code. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come over to the emulator. I'm going to press enter. Now we are going to paste, and the 10 line will get overwritten with a new 10 line. So I'm not worried about these weird characters, because if we actually hit run right now, it's just going to tell us there's a syntax error in 10. So that doesn't work. So let's now paste the new code. And we don't have the strange characters anymore. So that's kind of cool. And let's run. All right, we have a block. Ooh. That's weird. It wasn't in the center of the screen. It was off to the left, and now it's turned into looks like an underscore, maybe some other character, and I'm pressing the arrow keys and that's not working. So let's tell the AI, let's tell ChatGPT that the program is not moving the block. Let's just start with there. We know it's not actually even a block that it's showing us, so that's kind of a problem too. But let's just say the arrow keys are not moving the block, and see what it says. Oh, I apologize for the mistake in the previous code. Well, apparently AI makes mistakes. And now look what it's doing. It's going back to uppercase code again. That's interesting. So it didn't remember that we need to have this code in lowercase. So I'm going to say please. This is crazy. Why do I want to say please? I'm talking to a computer. All right, give me the code in lowercase. Chris, my coworker, says, man, you better start being polite to that thing. All right, so now it's giving me the code again in lowercase. Okay, and I'm curious, what did it actually change in the code? So let's see if we can pull up a text editor. And let's open up another text editor. And let's take the code from this one, paste it here. And let's take the code from this one and paste it here. That way we can at least see these side by side. What do we got? 10 and 20 look the same, 30, 40 look the same, 50 looks the same, 60 and 70 look the same, 80 and 90 look the same. All right. Well, look at this move at 10. Well, this is interesting. Maybe I'm using the wrong keys. Maybe it's not even using the arrow keys because it says IJKL. IJKL. If a string equals, this is an input, get the input at 90. IJKL. Well, I wonder if I'm not even using the right characters here. Oh, look at that. K is down, I is up. Oh my goodness. J is left and L is right. Oh, that's crazy. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So it did create it correctly. But the funny thing is it said it fixed the code, but actually looking down through the rest of the code, maybe you all see something different, but to me, the code actually looks exactly the same. Like it didn't actually change anything, even though it said there was a mistake. So that's kind of interesting. All right. So I'm going to minimize these, get these out of the way. Let's go back over here. How are we going to get a reset to work? I find it oftentimes in Commodore 64, when you start doing things on the screen, like creating black backgrounds and things, it starts to act kind of wonky as far as like getting the system to reset. So lines start to act weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to kill this one. And let's open up a fresh one. Yeah, it's lines sometimes seem to carry over and it thinks it's two lines when you paste. And I don't know why that is. A programmer out there that's programming basic could probably tell me. So let's just try this code again. This is interesting. I could not get this to work yesterday, by the way, which is interesting. Let's run it. All right. I, K, J, and L. Sure enough, look at that. It's moving that it's doing what we said. It's not really a block. So let's say change the character that is moving to an asterisk and see how that works. Let's kill Vice, open it back up. Look, it went back to uppercase. I'm going to have to start reminding it now every time to give me the code in lowercase. So as soon as it's done, I'll say, present the code in lowercase. Okay. So it told us in line 70 using the print command in line 70. So this is where the line that we could use to change that character to whatever we wanted. Change the code to all lowercase. I don't know about the speed of this. I mean, you can run a command, in JavaScript or some other programming language and just spit this all out in lowercase. So it's interesting that it's taking a while for it to run through these lines. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, or maybe that's intentional in this version of ChatGPT, which I believe is 3.5. So I'm going to copy that code over here and let's paste that and run. And sure enough, now we have an asterisk. That is pretty cool. Let's try and do something a little bit different. Let's kill this, open up a fresh one. And now let's say, instead of moving the characters using keyboard input, let's say create a sine wave, draw a sine, let's say draw a sine wave using the asterisk from left to draw a sine wave. Draw a sine wave from left to right using the asterisk. Well, let's just try that and see what it comes up with. Shoot. Sure enough, it's in uppercase again. Dang it. AI, come on. Get with the program here. I've told you at least 3 times to give me lowercase code. Create code in lowercase. I'm going to say all lowercase. And the reason I'm saying that, well, we'll see what happens. I did notice yesterday when I was messing around with this a little bit, I had an interesting problem with, it was ignoring things inside quotes. So I had to even tell it, like, even if the text is in quotes, to give it to me lowercase. Now, I don't have any text in quotes here, other than the asterisk, which I don't believe would be a problem, but which we know isn't actually, and a space, it looks like here as well. So let's take this code and copy it, paste, run. Ooh. Syntax in line 40. Frequency equals 20. I don't know that there's anything wrong with that line. Let's talk to it, show us what line 40 looks like. List 40. Well, I mean, that looks okay to me. I wonder if it's the variable is too long, but it took amplitude. Let's just see what it tells us. I'm missing something very obvious here, probably. There is a syntax error on line 40. Can you fix that and continue to give code in all lowercase? Here's corrected code. Line 40 still says frequency equals 20. It didn't actually change anything on this. Did it? Frequency equals 20. Let's get ourselves a new vice. List 40. I mean, that looks the same to me. Syntax in 40. Huh. I think it's got something to do with the length of the variable. Let's just try. Let's just try. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here and then feed the system some better information. Didn't mean to move that. All right, whatever. Let's just make our own 40. Let's say frequency equals 20, run, syntax error in 40. 40, let's do freak equals 20, run, syntax in 40. What's wrong here? I have no idea. 40A equals 20, run. Well, look at that. It took that. Is it variables limited to FR? Let's do 40 FRE equals 20, run, syntax error. 40 FR equals 20, run. Okay, well, oh, that's weird. I guess let's say make all variables a maximum of two characters long. Continue to give the code in all lowercase. Okay, so now it says A and F. It's got to be the length of that. That's my guess. Is this the length of the variable? Doesn't like that. Okay, have been shortened. A for amplitude, F for frequency, S for the sine Y position. Okay, so let's just copy the code. See what this spits out. Gosh, look at that. What? Did I not copy the code? I must not have. Let's give ourselves a new. Oh, you know what? That's the error I was telling you about. Like when it changes the screen, sometimes the there's something going on with the way that the text lines wrap. So let's just repaste the code because I was pretty sure we had the right code there. The thing to move. That's better. Okay. So we have, it's moving across the top of the screen. I was pretty sure I said left to right. Oh, I wonder if that's what it means by left to right. Oh, actually, I wonder if Is it because it's, I don't have any idea why this doesn't make any sense. And now it's reached a maximum space out here and it's working its way back. I think it's making the wave vertically. Like I think it's thinking it's drawing it like, because it, yeah, this is strange. So I don't know what the deal is here. Which direction should the wave be drawn on the screen in this code? In the current code, the sine wave is being drawn from left to right on the screen. Let's just say flip the X and Y and give the code again in all lowercase. See what it comes up with. Come on, baby. Copy that code. Paste. Run. It doesn't look like it's changed anything. I'm actually expecting this asterisk to go up and down and move across the screen. That's what I'm looking for. Let's kill this for a second. And let's just say, forget the existing code. Just draw a sine wave using Commodore 64 BASIC and make the wave for horizontal across the screen. Oh shoot, did I say lowercase? Oh, dang it. And let's see what it comes up with after we tell it to give it to us in all lowercase. Come on, baby. Give us some code that works, that runs. Now, I was totally impressed. I could not get a block to move around on the screen. I was kind of surprised that it was working. Now, some of you might say, well, it corrected itself since it, well, no, actually the data is the data that this is using. So I don't know how my request differed today from yesterday. But I think the data for this only comes up to like 2021 or 2020 or something like that. So it wouldn't have changed anything according to its own outputs. So if it outputted code yesterday, it wouldn't have had that code to reference today. I do not believe that ChatGPT works that way at this point. So let's try and copy this code, come over here and paste. It's doing the same thing, or it looks like it's doing the same thing. So that's kind of bogus. I don't know what's going on there. Obviously, we can look in the code and dig into the code and figure it out. But that's not the point. The point is that ChatGPT should be providing us with working code, or at least, you know, a good portion of working code. So it did get our moving block correct, but it's not getting drawing a sine wave correct. Now, funny thing is, yesterday I did have it drawing a sine wave. And so what's differed from my request from yesterday today? I don't know. The verbiage of my request might not be correct. There's probably better ways to ask it to do what to do this. So let's actually go back and do a clean request. Let's come over here and say new chat. And let's just start from scratch and say using Commodore 64 BASIC, and I'm saying Commodore 64 BASIC specifically for a reason, because I do not want, there's other like little flavors of BASIC that have other things that can be done in it. I do not want, I don't want any confusion. So use Commodore 60 BASIC and produce all code in all lowercase. Use draw a sine wave on the screen, making the cursor move from the left to right on the screen. Oh, I wonder if that's where it's thinking the cursor is moving left to right. So maybe it's ignoring what I'm talking about with horizontal and vertical. Making the cursor draw the sine wave from top to bottom and moving left to right across the screen. Let's just see what it gives us. And okay. All right. Now, clearly I said here, using Commodore 64 BASIC and produce all code in all lowercase. It apparently ignored that, which is interesting. I mean, I've been asking it all along here, and I've had to do this in every request. All right, let's just say create the same code in lowercase. Okay. Copy, paste, run. Ooh. It looks like it's just producing random characters. Actually, it's not really random now. Oh. That's weird. There's kind of a pattern. Oh, and now it's dead. That code did not work. It produced various characters in ASCII for a few lines, then stopped. Let's just figure that. I apologize for the mistake. In my previous response, the code I provided is for drawing a sine wave in Commodore 64 BASIC, but is not capable of animating the sine wave from top to bottom and moving left to right. But here's an updated code that should work as expected. Let's see. It's the same exact thing. So yeah, that this is not going swimmingly, I would say. Let's just kill it and give ourselves something fresh and different. Let's ask it to produce a shootout game between two players where player one has to hit the A key and player two has to hit the L key. And the player that hits the key the fastest wins. All right. So very simple timing game. Instead of the sine wave, create a game where create a two-player game. The game will be called shootout. Game will be called shootout, and player 1 must hit the A key before player 2 hits the L key. To start a random time between 5 seconds and 10 seconds will occur, then a prompt shoot will appear on the screen. The first player to hit their designated button will win. And of course, we don't want just key mashing, right? So, and if a player hits the button before the shoot prompt, that player will automatically lose. All right, let's just see what this comes up with here. Oh, look at this. It got rem in lowercase on line 10, and then look 20. This is what I was telling you about. Like it doesn't understand. It ignores things in quotes. It doesn't consider them part of the code, because this will be interesting. If I'll show you what I did yesterday, and we'll see if I get the same response. Okay, the program starts with a simple title screen, lines 10 through 20, and prompts player to press a key to start the game. The wait command is used, all right, the while loop. So it gives a great description here of these things, and we've got some remark, or yeah, doesn't have a whole lot of remarks here. But let's just see what happens when we say, give the code in all lowercase. Sure. Here, okay, well, it did give us to it in lowercase. Yesterday, I had asked it to give it to me in lowercase, and it told me it was in lowercase. But then I had to tell it that what was in quotes was not lowercase, and then it finally corrected the the quote, the text in quotes. All right, so here's our code. Paste. Run. Press any key to start. Oh, where do I have to press enter? Oops, syntax in line 50. The Commodore 64 BASIC code reported syntax error in 50. All right, so now it's using a for statement instead of previously it was trying to pull this off with a wait statement, and I don't believe wait works. No. Okay. Let's copy that code. Now, since we haven't like done anything weird with the screen, we should just be able to paste it. So paste. Run. Press a key. Oops, syntax error in line 110. W end. So W end is not a valid command for C64 BASIC. Apologize. It's sorry. Let's see what it gives us now. And okay, so now it's got this repeat until, and I don't think repeat works, actually. I don't think that works. Copy, edit, paste. Run, press a key. Oh, press any key to play. Well, it actually, the repeat did work. That's interesting. So press any key Press any key to start. We did that. And then it said shoot. Did it actually delay? It did not. Oh. It did not delay at least 5 seconds. The delay before the shoot prompt should be at least 5 seconds, but no more than 10. Please adjust. Please adjust. I'm doing it. Adjust the code and continue to produce all code in lowercase. Okay, I broke out of it. All right. So now it did a new random that should be added on to a previous value to give us at least 5 seconds. Let's just see what happens. Press a key. Oop, syntax error in line 50. So it went back to a wait command in line 50. Wait command in line 50 generates an error. Adjust the code to not use the wait command. Now I know like ChatGPT should be doing a better job with JavaScript and Python and other languages. In fact, I've had better success with other languages. But this is just something that you can easily have fun with and play with and just see how it works. Syntax error in line 50 again. So now it it created a long variable name. Produce the same code, but shorten the variable name. I just said variable name as if it was only one variable, but oh, it did. It shortened it from seconds to S now. All right. Copy that. Paste it. Okay, so I tried mashing the button before, and the delay is not long enough. So the S equals 5 here. It thinks in line 50 that 5 is 5 seconds. 5 is not long enough. So let's just rewrite 50 itself. S equals 150 plus int RND 1 times 6. Run. All right, now we're getting definitely a longer delay. Well, this is good. So we're on pins and needles. Who's going to press the button first? All right, so I pressed A and I pressed L, and that doesn't work. And it immediately goes to press a key to play again. It doesn't actually record an input, or it doesn't seem like it's recording an input after it presents shoot. And I'm not like trying to troubleshoot the code. I'm just trying to react quickly to if a person didn't know anything about BASIC, I'm trying to act like they would be trying to figure this thing out, right? So let's say now the prompt shoot appears, but the program does not wait for an input from player 1 or player 2. Let's just see if what it does with that. It takes human intelligence to get all of the pieces correct here. I worked as a, I don't know, 20 something for a place that did mail encoding. Oh, 20 shootout. What? Something's wrong. So I worked for a place that did mail encoding, and we were seeing images on our screen. We were actually programming basically AI to read OCR, right? Optical character recognition. And so we had to type in, sometimes we had to type in zip code, sometimes it was the address line, occasionally it might have been the name. And we were teaching the system to be able to read text. And I think this is going to end up being the same kind of thing. We're going to end up gradually improving the code and finding working code. And then that working code's going to end up being part of like a database of known working code that AI can now reference. And that's going to take some time, obviously. GPT-5 is supposed to be way better. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So let's try this code again. I don't know why. Press the key to start. Oh. So it's still not getting it right. I mean, it takes energy to figure this stuff out. I probably at this point could have typed this, knowing basic, some basic, probably could have come up with a way to produce similar code in a shorter fashion. If somebody doesn't know any programming at all, obviously this is going to be a little faster. But if you're just frustrated and trying to produce code that doesn't work, then you're going to be, you're going to be frustrated. So anyhow, I'm not going to dig into this anymore. You could probably look at the code if you want and try and troubleshoot what is getting wrong, or you could tell me, put in the comments if you think there's some things that I should ask it that would be better questions to produce the code better, then please let me know. I'm more than happy to give it a shot and see if it corrects the code. So I'll leave this chat. I'll keep this chat open in ChatGPT so I can go back and kind of take a look at it. But in the meantime, ChatGPT can produce some working code. We saw that with the block that it allowed us to move around on our screen, and it did that actually relatively quickly, which was pretty cool. So there's probably many other applications. Like if you wanted to do some stuff in Commodore 64, I'm sure you could find some ways to improve some existing code. If you gave it some code and wanted it to optimize some things, I bet you could have a good stab at that and get some decent results. In this particular example with this shootout game, which seems easier than drawing the sine wave, then it just is struggling on this one. So anyhow, a little bit of programming, ChatGPT on Commodore 64. Catch you guys later.